right, so this is my favorite medium, you guys. It's like my absolute favorite um, drawing medium, I should say. And drawing is really a misnomer. Whenever I tell people we're going to use pen and ink, they hold up ballpoint pens and thin Sharpies, and I'm like, that's not what I mean. When I mean pen and ink. Here, hold on. Oh no. Hold on. Hold on. There we go. That's not what I mean, right? What I mean is a drawing medium that's super painterly. And so what I love about this medium is how old school it is. It's like super old school. We've got a bamboo brush and a bamboo pen and a jar of ink. In this case, I'm using the Sumi ink, but you could totally use Higgins is a great product. Really, any waterproof ink is good. And waterproof simply means that once it dries, you can put other things on top of it. It won't like sort of spread or flow, which is pretty neat. Like I've put like Mod Podge on top of my ink drawings. I'll show you that a little bit later, and it totally preserves them. It's pretty neat. And to me, I can picture all of these things being used like I don't know, during the Roman Empire, when people are like going from Mongolia to, I don't know, to Kashgar or something, and they're counting sheep, and they're like, this is like what the accountants are using to like write, it depends in the numbers. And the mark making is magical. It's really, really magical. The other things you're going to need here, let me pop up here so I can show you. The other things you're really going to need for this to be successful is at least one jar of water. You can see I've already gotten my jar a little inky because I dipped my brush in it once. You're going to want at least one jar of water, if not two. And you're definitely going to want your blankie, which is this. So before we even get into doing this and Diane, of course, you do whatever you want to do. I don't know if you're going to paint this lovely lady tonight, or if you're still working on Frank.
Yeah, I am, but he is so angry that I'm doing it because he thinks it's such a bad photo.
He shouldn't post that shit on Facebook then.
That's what I said. Yeah, but it was my state of mind. Well.
Whatever.
Don't show it to anyone.
So what I'd like to see you do is, before we even get started, so this is Bristol paper. I'm moving that to the side. This is like printer paper. You can see the back of it is something I don't want to look at again. What I want you guys to start doing, should I wait until Tashween and Lisa get back? I probably should. Tashween and Lisa, when you're back, let me know. Oh, I see. You're probably all getting your stuff. So when you're back, I'll start to show you what I want you to do. So this is just plain old printer paper. And this is going to be integral. So I'm going to hold it up so you can see it while I work. I'm going to put my jar. What I want you to do is get used to the mark making on just a regular sheet of paper, testing this before you get going. So as you can see, I'm dipping in the bottle of ink, my brush, and then I'm dipping it in water 2-3 times. Dipping it in my camera, if I can like, yep, I can totally, I just go this way. Yep, you can see it. Awesome. That's what I really want. Dipping it in the water a couple of times so that when I come to my paper, I guess you don't need to see me here now. Hold on. So when I get to my paper, I'm making these like kind of marks with the brush. You're going to see there's some really, and I'm dipping my brush in the water again. So I go even lighter, and then again. You can see that the lighter I go, the lighter I make this. You can see that the lighter I go, the lighter the marks come. So I want you to just play with that. And then you can practice getting darker. Dip your brush just straight in the ink and make marks on it like this. So just play with this brush. Look at, I just made this is $100. Like it's a really, and you can see that the ink, because this is very grotty, you know, because this is not very strong paper, you can see that the ink is leaving these kind of little marks, particularly the wetter it is as it dries, particularly as I go over a wet mark. But just kind of see what your brush is going to do. You're going to see the Sumi brush is really cool. These bamboo brushes are really cool because they kind of, when you get them wet, they winnow up to a point. And then they make this kind of beautiful sweeping marks. And once you, everybody enjoying that? And once you've done that for a little while, you're going to take your bamboo pen and dip your bamboo pen in the ink. And you might have tricky, look at it, I'm having difficulty. I might have to try the other side. There we go. So you can see that if I dip my pen directly in, there's a little inkwell here. Look at the kind of marks that your pen will make. Like I'm kind of catching the extra ink that I dropped on here. But you can see that I can make these very thin, hardy, stiff marks that really play off beautifully. So I want you to just cover a sheet of paper, maybe two, with these things before we actually get into the exercise itself.
Would you ever dip your pen in water to dilute it, or you use it for dark marks?
You know, pens don't really carry much ink, so you'll try and see what it does. We can see what it does. I don't think it'll, well, it might do something interesting. Oh yeah, look at it. Because there's a little bit of pen already on here. Yeah, that'll work. I'm dipping my pen.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of nice. So if you kind of, maybe if you want to like sharper line, good idea, Lisa. Good idea. I like it. We're trying to see it. It's like I wanted to make sure you saw this whole process. So yeah, just play around with it. Take a picture, send it across the thread.
Oh geez, mine's a mess.
That's why we're getting used to it first. So I know Lisa has done this before. I'm sure Lana has. Tashmeen, have you ever used these materials before? No?
I think I have once, but I don't remember it all.
All right, cool. So yeah, the biggest thing with any new medium, a tool, anything, right, is that you kind of want to practice getting to use it. So spend a little time practicing. Diana, I did think you might like this pose.
I do.
It's
I do like
circusy.
Yeah, I like the motif.
Victorian porn.
Yeah, I do like that.
Yeah, nice, Lisa. Totally fun. Yep. So notice you can make so people often say, you know, oh, you can't erase with ink, but that's not exactly true. You can erase with ink. How do you erase with ink? We start by going very, very light with these light grays. We start by going very light with these light grays. And once we get things in place, then we go darker. So a little bit like watercolor, right? And like watercolor, we'll leave the lightest parts kind of untouched. Yeah, Tom, good. playing with the brush. What do you think? How does it feel? What's your reaction? What words would you put on it?
Impromptu. I don't know.
Pretty sketchy, right? Like you're kind of, it's quick. Yeah, you're forced to move very fast. That's very true, I think. With ink, it either goes or it doesn't. There's no like in between. So our goal with ink is to kind of work with its peculiarities. I love this picture too, because there's a bunch of things we're going to be able to do with it as we start to sketch it.
I feel like there's some cool stuff we could do in abstract art class with this.
Oh yeah, you will definitely. That's why I really wanted you to get it, because in your abstract art class, you will totally be able to use that. Absolutely. And that's the whole thing, right? Playing with materials. All right. So as you're setting up for this drawing today, you're going to want not only your Bristol paper, like it's very smooth paper, but you're also going to want another sheet of printer paper, right? Here, where you can test, just like with watercolor, you're going to need this for testing. Okay. So let's start by looking at the model. So we have a couple of things that are happening. One is that the real, I know I always talk to you about getting the vertical distance, but the real like height of this model is horizontal, it's not vertical, right? So we're going to do a couple of things first to determine, make sure we've got everything we need. I want to draw a couple of lines for you to help you kind of conceptualize how to use that in, this information that we always use with the head. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line. Actually, I really should do it from here. Yeah. So from her chin, right? If it's the bottom of her chin. The horizontal distance is important to find as well as the vertical distance. I'm going to send a picture of this. We can also do the vertical distance in a few places. The vertical distance is like here. Really down to there, right? So from here and here. There's a couple of other key lines, like what happens, like where does that arm kind of cross, what's underneath that hand? I'm going to send you this picture in a second. So you can see these sketch marks. Right? So these are the distances we're going to use the head to find. So as always, I'm going to, check my head using my fingers here. And then I can see that from the chin out, it's one head length. right? So one head length up, and then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like 6 1/4. 6 1/4 heads out, and 1, 2, like 3 1/4, 1/4 down. So it's almost like we're creating this little grid and graphic. I know you're all like, how are you going to do that with ink? Let the magic begin.
Oh, Christina today, huh?
No, Christina. Yes. Maybe she fizzled out. No, I doubt it. She probably just had stuff to do. She was very keen. Maybe she felt like she needed to have the materials. Okay. So I know it's a little bit hard to see those marks here, but you guys have a copy. So when you're starting to sketch your persons, your people, you're going to start with the brush. Do not pick up that pen. And notice I'm dipping my pen and testing it here on my paper until I get a very light wash. Dipping and dipping. I might even squeeze out. Oh, and don't squeeze it too hard. Right in there. Right. I might even squeeze out. So I'm actually testing down here until I get a really super light ink wash. And then I can do this. I can do the head, right? Mark it.
Should we just watch you right now, or should we?
Yes, just watch me.
Okay.
4, 5, 6. I'll do it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and like a quarter. So here's that. Here's the head. Here's the horizontal length. And then 2, 3, 4. Here's like the, so here's the border, right, around which I'm not really sketching it in because I don't want you to have too many extra lines. But this is the border. We've just recreated this little grid here. And I happen to know 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the hand is kind of right here. Right, which means that just below the knees are here. So I'm just, notice I'm just giving myself these little dots. So yes, now Lisa is a good time to try this. I'll send you a picture so you can see. So you see I've got these little light inky dots, which kind of go, they don't exactly go away, but they kind of push into the background as you get darker colors. So they add this really amazing texture. I was tempted to show you an ink drawing before we get started. Would you guys like to see one to see what we're going towards? I thought it might be helpful for you. Let me go get an ink drawing. Hang on. Hang on. I have to turn on the light like this.
So how is work, Lisa? You're on mute. You're on,
Fine. Did you see I sent you quotes last night?
yep, I
Okay.
already incorporated, and You know, I've been dealing with Mr. Pearl.
Yeah. Yeah, let's,
Talk about that later.
yeah, yes.
Yes.
Yes, you need to fill me in on the meeting,
Yeah, I need to do that.
but it sounds like we're going ahead at the moment.
Yeah, we are. And we'll see how it goes. Anyway, they wanted Bill Maher. But
Who
we,
wanted Bill Maher?
ah,
Who wanted Bill Maher?
the Pearls.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh,
All right.
okay, yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
These are little 10-minute ink sketches. They aren't very detailed.
No.
So like 10 or 15 minutes. So can you see how the ink kind of like bleeds out in places, these lighter ink, and it just creates kind of awesome extra texture? You look up close, you can see. See how in
Very cool.
Yeah, so what we do, once we kind of lay out our textures kind of loosely, we tighten with the pen. But not until we know where everything is. And it creates these really magical textures that are really awesome and gestural and expressive. But first I want to see your measuring.
All right.
Well, I like your little board there. 1, 2, 3. Tashmi, you went too far. Too many heads. Count again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
See what I did.
You want to go, you may want to go a little bigger too. You have more room.
I'm doing the same mistake, going too smooth.
Yeah.
I made my head too big and I can't get 6 across.
So make your head smaller.
I just painted on my screen by accident.
Mm.
I just did ink on my screen as I was kind
Easily done.
Yes. In fact, I was just looking at my feet and realizing I have, I'm going to take a picture of this. This is ridiculous. I don't even know how this happened. Because I'm not sure it's paint. Is it paint? It's- Here, I was walking barefoot in the studio. This is what I just did. It's my foot right now. That's right, I remember now. Here we go. I I think I stepped on some turquoise oil paint. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. Like, oh my God. What was I doing? Yes, this is ridiculous.
But you enjoy turquoise everywhere.
I do enjoy turquoise everywhere, right? Yes, absolutely. Okay, let's see. One,
Oh, nice, Leah. Nice, nice on your foot. That's pretty
are
funny.
you afraid to come to my, that looks great, Tosh. That looks great. Do you want me to, Lisa, do you want me to wait until you get yours in, or do you want, I'm not in a rush, so
Well, I don't want to hold everyone else up.
just show the next step and then we'll stop.
Okay.
Okay, so take a moment to watch. So just like before, I'm going to take this very soft ink and I'm going to lightly sketch in without really getting into the details the head. Now the trick here, you can see I'm I have my little blankie with me. The trick here is that I want to make sure I don't get color where it's light. Her face is fairly light. So I'm trying to get this color in. Also, she's got this, you know, her head is turned to the side and she's got this hair that's like just going all over the place. And by the way, this is like pornography to the Victorians. Isn't that cute? Isn't that like adorable? I was like, oh my God, it seems so charming and innocent. So I've got my head in there. And then I can kind of see that down, and here we can kind of see her. So in a lot of positions, the neck kind of extends more, but I can kind of see that her neck kind of rises above her shoulders for the most part. And I can see that right here, which is where the head is on this side, the kind of arm bumps up. And then kind of using this as a guide, I can see that I'm still guessing, right, where things are, but see how I can kind of lightly, I know that the hand kind of comes right at head 4. So the wrist comes sort of right before it, and then I'm just trying to recreate this negative shape. So you see how these lines can help you. It's the same down here. Well, no, I don't want to get there yet. Not yet. Not yet. Let's go this way. And then this way, now notice this arm is bigger, much bigger, right? So the elbow kind of goes out. What? Oh, sorry, that is Sunny playing with a toy, I presume. And then once again, there's another kind of negative space in there. I can tell already that doesn't look right. I think the arm's not thick enough. So this arm is going to be thicker just because it's nearer to you. There's kind of a, I'm going to send this over so that you guys can kind of see it. Normally, I don't get this controlling about how and when you exactly sketch in everything, but I feel like with this new medium, it's helpful since we're measuring and, since we're measuring and like, you know, kind of trying to sketch things out with the new medium I've got. It's okay. It kind of looks like this neck is a little bit thick here, but that's okay. We can winnow this out. Excuse me. We can winnow this out when we get more darks in later. So go ahead and show me when you've gotten to this point. used to teach with all these lines like that. I think it's helpful. For some reason, it's evolved. Looks good, Lisa.
Awesome.
So even though I know some of these lines are kind of blotchy and they look a little bit weird, I'm going to be able to fix them when I go over with my pen. So I'm really just trying to get a rough outline of this young lady. I'm sort of in this position of needing to go a little bit darker just so you guys can see everything. Notice how, and this is where I notice everybody almost always gets the size of the arm wrong. This is the armpit, really. And the armpit is always like much wider than we think it is. So don't miss out on that. Don't forget that.
We did not have a lighting engineer for this picture.
A lighting engineer.
Yeah, we did not have a lighting person.
They should have, though. I mean,
Yeah, I should have. Sunny Bunny, what are you eating on now? Sunny Bunny. It's not the toy. No, here is a toy. It's this and this. That's perfect. Yeah. Oh. Puppies. Puppies.
puppies. Eternal babies.
Yeah, I don't know.
So yeah, Lisa, I'm excited to see you. in a couple weeks.
Now,
When is it you're going?
week after this weekend.
Yeah, 2 weeks from Monday.
I'm sending a picture with you.
Yes, Diana, we need to talk about that. So it's something that we need to talk
Okay.
about. Or I can just send you cash with Lisa.
Whatever.
Will that work?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Okay, Tosh, you're getting a little too, I want you to revisit these shapes. It's wider here. Little bit wider. So you brought this body part, this in, you went too far, too fast, too far. Too far, too fast. Now watch me. Now I'm going to sketch that in a little bit. So there's this kind of like triangle really here where the armpit kind of connects to the upper chest and torso. So do you see how I sketched that in before I get into anything happening here? This is kind of breast. And I'm still using, oops, and I might have, nope, nope, I went too far. I went too far. Fortunately, I didn't put too many marks. So I'm just gonna come back in here. So the armpit, let's see. 1, 2, I see, I went too high up. Here we go, it should be like this. So you can see I've completely got my proportions in the wrong place. I am not worried. Not me, not worried at all. So I'm coming in here and bringing that triangle up here. And then coming down to kind of sketch out that shadow, which is kind of on our left. You see that? So I started it out here, but really the breast, even then I still got it wrong. The breast is here. And then there's this little bulge here. And then it kind of drifts this way. But actually, even that, so I see it's easy to go too far up. This is above head 3, so I'm almost giving myself like this. That distance, so I know where it is. Oh yeah, we also have a really fun foreshortening happening here. Oh, and a little lace shawl thing. How cute. When I come over here, I'm going to use the head to check and see how wide it is. It's pretty much from tit to tit is the length of one head. Right? There's that. And then there's this bit of the waist. And then hip. Kind of coming in. And if I really want to check that, I can also see that from the hip, the top of the hip, from the line here, well, actually, from this spot, which is, well, it's not the whole head, but it's like from here to about, it's most of the head is where the hip starts. And then the hip turns down here. I think this is a good place to stop, let you guys catch up. So notice 3 times I put this in the wrong place, which is why this was helpful. I could take it and scrub out whatever I didn't quite get right. Okay, Lisa, I want you to look at these shapes here. You're not paying attention. You're going too wide. Look at this shape and look at this shape. Okay? Look at that shape and that shape.
Okay.
And then look at how much neck is in between.
I need more neck.
You need more neck to start with. Yep. Also, look how sort of ghostly and neat and interesting it is already, though. It's kind of a neat. Did Rollo's father die?
No, he's still alive. And I'm not, I mean, I initially heard the prognosis was not good. And today what I heard sounded a little better, so I'm not really sure.
Great. Notice, by the way, I've kind of stopped right before we get to the legs. So we're going to do the legs kind of next.
My dog is gonna kill something again. She kills the toys. And
Oh,
she sounds like she's howling like a wolf.
Right, that's the whole point of those toys, right? They feel like they've conquered another animal.
Oh my God, did you guys see the whole thing with Anuja Jaiman? I don't know how many of you know her. She was a Reuters person, is a Reuters person in India who started out doing the classes. We haven't seen her in a while, but her cat Bopla
Yeah.
ran away, got out the door, ran away, and was
Was
gone.
that her cat or her friend's cat?
Her old cat, the old cat, Bopla with the funny ears.
I thought it was her friend's cat.
No, it was her cat. It's her cat. She's adopted the cat. He's been with her for a year. He's an old cat. He's an old man. He's like 14 and he got out and he was gone for 2 days and then she found him. So he's back.
Oh,
Is that?
I wanted to tell you a good story.
I know. I was like, how does this turn out?
It was terrible.
No, that's nice.
Yeah, this is Bopla. Let's see. Bopla
Okay.
is,
Can I mention something that I just realized that might help other people?
Sure.
I realized you're literally holding this like a pen,
I am.
like
Yeah,
I thought you to have more control over it, right? Like I was holding it up here and kind of
yeah, don't do that.
doing this, but you have more control if you're holding it closer to the bottom.
Good point. Well, actually, am I?
All right. Well, I feel I do at least.
Yeah, but you can choke up on it if you need to. You absolutely can.
Okay. Because yeah, I felt like I was having these really fat lines and I can make them skinnier. I feel like if I'm
But
holding
remember,
it differently.
we're not so worried. All right, let's see.
I better turn off the sound because someone wants to play.
Somebody wants to play. I feel like you might have to bring this down just a touch, Tosh. Here. Just a touch. Not a touch, but a little touch. It feels like it's up a little bit high.
Yeah. And did I get armpit right or?
Seems okay for the moment. I mean, there'll be corrections. I feel like her arm is more straight. It's more, you have it more this way. You have it more this way, and it's really more up.
I see that. Okay.
But like you can correct that now. We can get the body down, and then you can start doing corrections. So this is Bopla.
Aw.
I know. Look at his funny ears. He's like a weird little old man.
Aw, what a cutie.
I was like, Bopla. Apparently he went back to where he used to live. I don't really know where that is, but
Oh, really?
that's where they found him. Yep, he somehow found his way back.
Wow. You always hear those stories of, this animal walked 60 miles to find their owner.
Oh my God. I heard a story the other day. There, just south of Portland is a town called Oregon City. It's probably, and so I live in North Portland, which is as far north as you can get in Portland without going to Vancouver, without getting into Washington State. And then south of Portland is Oregon City. And somebody found a cat that had been missing for 2 months from Oregon City. So somehow the cat walked all the way from Oregon City up to North Portland and then was found.
That is crazy.
Owner. Yeah. I guess they can wander far.
Oh, sorry, I sent that sideways.
Better. All right, I'm going to keep going.
Okay.
So you can stop and watch for a minute. So the other thing that's interesting about, I think I'm going to start here. Wait, it's really here. Here's my blanket. So there's this kind of lacy thing that comes over. I don't want to get too many details, but I do want to include the shape of it. So notice how this lacy thing kind of affects the shape of things. And notice that there's kind of a light part of the knee here, and then a dark part down here. So there's a dark part of the leg you can bear. It's kind of a lost edge. And there's this light part here. And then there's, let's see. Oh, yep, I got the shape wrong. No worries, I don't care. Because notice how much of this knee action is all everything about the knee, the bottom knee is up here, is on this side of the line. The top knee comes over. Notice that the foot is basically one whole head. So we have a lot of space. Yeah. What's too small? The ankle is here. What is like? Really big. Bottom foot. So there's these sort of these dark areas and these light areas. Better not really to think of this. Think of it as the pieces rather than as whole legs, because otherwise you're going to get really confused. Did I get that right? So see, I'm kind of trying to sketch over where I think things really are versus my many tries and attempts. I might still not quite have it right, but I think it looks like it's a pretty good shape. And then we've got a toe coming up here. Oh, right, so there's this like dark edge. And then you can also kind of lightly sketch in pillows she's in. Yeah. Send that over. Not bad, Tosh, not bad. I think you can work with this. Yep. Okay. So now you can start to see these things. We can add in kind of more inner, right? We can now start to go back to the inner details. Because I'm still pretty light. Yes. Notice there's a kind of a plane change here. Her belly is kind of poking out and light here. It's a little bit darker in the other places. Notice that one nipple is coming out this direction and the other is going this direction. They're not both going the same direction. It's not kind of anal, but it's true. And then where you think you've got things going with the light wash, you can go over and start adding in like the darks, right? So the knee down here. Is pretty dark, and it's pretty dark down here. There's kind of even a lost edge. So I'm still sketching in kind of darks and mediums, and like there's a sort of dark area under her chin, and her hair is quite dark. So I'm going in and darkening, starting to darken the shaded areas. I'm eventually going to get darker with those, but I want to kind of slightly, here, I got to stop, otherwise I'll just keep going. This is very slow, you know, for drawing, for me, for like, I'm normally, one of the things I like about this medium is how quick everything goes. And I'm just realizing that I'm not even using Bristol, I'm using watercolor paper, super smooth, which is why I'm getting these funky little dots here. When my water is drying, it's not quite as smooth as Bristol, so. My texture is a little bit different. But look how sort of frothy and nice this figure is looking, even though not everything is decided yet.
Yeah, I think my dog is quiet for a little while.
Oh, yeah? Are you
Yeah.
worried?
Just needed to kill her food bowl.
Toy.
Our food bowl, actually. She conquered her food bowl.
Oh, good. What?
The colors that I'm using is not like,
I don't think I have ever heard you giggle like that. That is really fun. Like, that's awesome. It's nice to have something like this, isn't it, Diana? Just to not be thinking about anything else.
yeah, it is.
Yeah. I feel like figure drawing is the only thing that is one of the few things that really takes so much concentration. So much.
My concentration isn't the best today, but that's okay. It's still fun.
It can get better though.
I'm doing a very strange painting. I'm gonna take a picture just to amuse you.
Okay, do it. And when I get a little bit darker, when I kind of feel like I know where things are, I can notice I'm still dipping my brush in water several times, but I'm going a little bit darker in my darkest areas. When I feel like I know where they are, you want to kind of wait until you everything dries. So I'm mostly doing background. I'm doing a little. Look what happens as I add my darks in. Ha! That's fun, Diana. It's fun. It's coming along. I like it.
See if it,
Okay, Lisa, something's off here. I want you, okay. There. So the biggest issue you've got, Lisa, is that this part, I want you to look at the width of this part. You've ended the figure here. The figure
Okay.
until down here. See that? That's just the waist. The hips are like this.
Okay.
You need to bring them down. Let's. Yeah, Tosh, so just start getting darker. My biggest issue here is I'm trying to locate where this is. Also, how wide is it? Really is one hip length. From here, yeah, so it's down here. So I'm working pretty hard to find where that little dark V is, because that's kind of key to everything else that I'm doing. I had it up a little too high. So I'm seeing where it lines up, which is kind of here, right? But also how far down it goes. And I use my head to measure that. From the elbow to here, it's basically one head size. I think I got that in the right places. So as I start to kind of work around, get darker. You almost can't see the bottom of the second leg here. It's weird. It's mostly covered by a pillow. And I'm also going to try and take my background, my darker color, to kind of carve out my background, because it's really tough to see exactly where all this stuff starts and ends, but it's almost easier to get background in. And I can work around. And I have more options for kind of strengthening things. But mostly what I'm trying to do is get this field, right? All these different fields kind of defined. I'm going to send this in. see, most of my darkening is really, I'm being very strategic in my darkening. And I still may not have the shape of this hip exactly right, but I still have options for how to fix that. As I start to get more darks in, so I'm still watering down my ink, but I'm like watering it down less. I'm slowly getting darker. So like watercolor, you'll see as it starts to dry, it lightens again. that's really started to bring out. It's starting to get that dark. Not super dark, but just dark enough. Funny, it's like she's coming out in little pieces. Now my question is, are we ready for? Kind of, yeah, I think we are. So now I'm gonna go even darker with more sort of full-on dark ink. Because I feel kind of more confident about my darks. Woo. See there. Mostly still working around. Outside. Notice how what seemed very dark is now looking fairly medium when you lay the real darks down. I'm gonna take a picture of this quick, but now I'm gonna go in with my pen. Yeah, Tosh, starting to come along. Nice, nice. So now is the time. Let's see. Now is the time to start going in with the pen. In kind of areas where you know, now don't try and outline the face really. You don't really have that. You're gonna see that you're being limited in how much ink you can grab, right? But now is the time where I might try and add in. I might actually even dip my brush in my pen in the water, the inky water, to get a little bit more. And I might, oops, and I just flopped a bunch of ink, fortunately, mostly in dark areas. I might actually also switch out this picture at this point, so we have one that's not so mucked around. So we can see some of the lights and darks better, all right? So you've got the gridded one. You can use that on the WhatsApp thread if you want. But now we're coming back here. Here's the moment of truth. You're like, do I have this right or not? So that question that Lisa asked was really helpful because I can actually dip my pen in the water, the pen usually has enough ink. If you get some ink on it, you can also dip in the water to make it go a little bit longer. Also makes a slightly different kind of mark. But what I also like about this pen is that you can't get more than a few strokes in before going back to dip. That actually slows you down. So you're not as likely to mess things up. This will be a very long process. So now I'm starting to give a little bit more form. To these softer marks. I mean, the soft marks are beautiful, don't get me wrong. You could do a lot with them. You could, if you wanted to, do this whole thing with them, but I like this combination of textures. It seems to get like need to stay. There we go. Sometimes what you're sketching is leg and nudity, but a lot of it sometimes some of it is like this lace stuff, which is not skin, has a slightly different texture. I seem to be getting ink on everything but the paper. So I know it's going in. It's because I'm using watercolor paper and not Bristol. The ink here is fighting a little bit, so it's better for me to water down. Should work better for you guys if you're using Bristol. I just realized I'm totally out. I need to get some. Oh,
Oh, shit. All right.
You okay?
Okay, I'm just swearing at my mistakes.
Yeah. The place where your one's most likely to go wrong, I think, here is in here, this shape, and up in here, because it's easy to go a little bit too.
I'm up at the body part, like I'm pretty wrong everywhere, but that's okay.
If you measured, I'm just saying, if you measured,
Oh, that's overrated, right?
Don't ever, that's fighting words for me, lady. Don't let the other students hear you say that. Only you're allowed to say that.
I like correcting so much.
Yeah.
Let's say it's like that.
There you go. I'm not getting too much detail in the hand, just a little bit, not too much. Really just kind of this is super hard to you guys. So like the truth is it's hard. So just do your best. This is a kind of a tricky pose.
It's very tricky.
It's super tricky. So just do your best with it. I'm like, I might have just done a major. Okay, I'm about to say shit too. So I think I might have saved it, but all right. No more working on that face. Everything else. Try and pay real attention to the hairline. I don't expect you to do much with the face, but the hairline has a different shape than you'd expect. So working on that actually will help a lot with shaping the direction of the face. Notice that the elbow doesn't come out into a point. It's got like it goes up, then there's like this little diagonal out, and then there's a diagonal down. Really pay attention to the Uber shapes. So it's this kind of exquisite tension. Is anybody getting that between the pen and these washes and then these really strong contour lines? There's this beautiful tension that emerges. It's really hard to control. So it may work well, or you may feel like, shit, I got to try this one over again. But that is a valid that feeling, as long as you're starting to understand how these play off each other. Yeah. Damn it. Little bit down here. Brr. I may have like mug up the side of her face because my tool, my pen went a little bit out of my control. Brought dark into a sort of crucial light layer. We'll see. What you'll see as you start to do this kind of layering, something kind of neat is also happening. These textures kind of lay on top of each other in interesting and beautiful dynamic ways. Not things that you can plan necessarily.
Yeah, do you have any suggestions for me?
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize. It's fun watching you paint too.
Tosh, I'm gonna need about a minute to work out what I'm working out here, and then I'll take a look. So you
Love
can
it.
me for a minute, try and problem solve, and then I'll be right there. Sorry, sometimes I actually need to just be here, where I can't focus. Give me 1 second. Just want to see if I can fix what I need to fix. Let's see. Well, I think it looks pretty neat. I mean, I would just keep adding textures in and kind of more layers. I like how the figure's looking, work the background a little bit more. I think it looks great. Aren't you happy? Are you happy with it?
Yeah, I'm really excited.
I know, it's pretty neat, isn't it? I think it looks great, Tosh. Just keep like, you know, kind of seeing what you can add to it.
Right.
Just see what you can, that's all I would say. You're on the right track.
No problem. But what were you trying to solve?
Oh, I was having kind of a shape issue here,
Mhm.
kind of shape issue all over. Also, I just realized I'm using the wrong kind of paper. So I'm trying to figure out how to make, the tool behave not on Bristol, but on watercolor paper. You can see my paper is actually behaving probably a little bit differently than yours because it's not as smooth and slick. So yeah, it's just, you know, Josh, it's just the having to concentrate on the shapes so hard that if you tried to talk or you stopped, you lose it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I don't often get there with you guys in this, but I'm that is like showing you how challenging this is, in my view. It's tricky. I mean, it's pretty neat. Do you ever find it's like a little bit difficult to talk when you're in the middle of doing art?
Yeah.
Yeah. That really means you're in right brain. That just means you're in right brain.
I just feel like I'm having a night where I can't see anything. Like I'm looking and I have the grid and I know where the things are supposed to go, but I don't know.
Finding out where the legs are is really tricky. And the only thing I would say, Lisa, is you might, if you're feeling like you just messed this up, right? Like it's not-
Yeah.
you might start over and just do a piece. I would just do the halfway.
All right.
Here.
Yeah, I might do that.
Don't worry about the legs. The legs are super hard, and see what you can get just out of doing that this top torso area, because there's just more to grab onto up here.
All right.
The legs is where all the foreshortening is happening. Right? That's where things are coming towards you. So they're bigger and they're kind of misshapen, and you almost have to stop thinking about them. I don't know if this happened to you, Tosh, but when I was working down here, I had to stop thinking about them as legs at all. I had to start thinking about them as just a bunch of shapes that happen to, dark and light shapes that happen to be near each other.
Yeah.
You can't really, there's a bunch in shadow, there's a bunch of lost edges. There's a whole bunch of things that are really, Diana, I know is probably, you know, grappling with this as well, because
Mine look like, it doesn't even look like a cartoon.
well, better than that, but it's hard to get like everything in the right places.
Yeah, it is. And this is so, I'm gonna take it with a regular camera, because when you turn it sideways and
Yeah.
Malia, do you have any videos on hands? Like, have you taught hands?
I have taught hands. I'm trying to think if I have any videos on hands. I can probably eventually get to hands in drawing.
okay, baby.
If you just hang out long enough, I'll do it. But I'll see if I have a video. I haven't taught it for this group, but I have taught hands.
Well,
And
yeah,
I will do it in one of the.
I thought we were waiting to the end on hands because they're super hard, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but I mean, I have a lesson on them. I've been asked to teach them before. They're their own thing. Yeah.
Dog tells me she needs to go out.
Maybe I will do a lesson actually on hands in one of the beginning drawing classes. Which would be the best way, or I could do it here, I suppose. Could do it in this class. We're gonna move this class over to painting in September, so. I'm just, what I'm really struggling with is I can't get my pen to do what I can normally get it to do, because I'm using a different paper. Frustrating. Stop being annoying and give me some straight lines. That's almost everything. Yeah, so Tosh, hands is not something I give tips on. Hands is a whole instruction. You'll quickly decide, I'm sure, that hands is not even worth. Look, it got better when I stopped, you know, like the obsession with hands, you'll be like, oh my God, this is a whole thing.
okay. I feel like lately, like whenever in class, I just ignore it.
Well, yeah, I get it, but like it's the kind of thing you just have to be ready for it. It's a whole, you know, it's kind of like I can't really teach perspective until you guys have drawn for a while, right? Because you're not, when you're at beginners, don't even know, have the language to kind of understand you know, what they're seeing, right? So it becomes this whole like, anyway, it's a layers thing. So I will eventually get to, we will get to hands, I promise. Maybe we'll do that as the last lesson.
How about this, Leah? You let us do hands when we actually start counting heads correctly.
Okay, all right, fair enough. That sounds like a good, I don't think I can refuse
I
that.
can't believe I keep messing that up. So
Isn't it funny though? It's
mhm.
funny, isn't it? Um, how many things there are to think about. You know, that's really true about the body and the face and the figure in general, is how much there is to think about. It's funny, the moment I got kind of sick of dealing with trying to get my pen to do something it wasn't going to do, I noticed that my drawing got a little bit better. So notice that yourself. That's like you're like, God damn it, it's not like doing what I wanted to do. I can't get it to do what I normally get it to do. I got looser. This starts to look very gestural and kind of wonderful in my mind. Kind of better than what's, you know, the hard work that I've been doing up here to try and get all of this. All right, we'll do hands for the last figure drawing class in August. What will that be? That will be, how about it? Should we do it?
That's next week.
Is that next week? Is there one more?
No, no, next week would be the 25th.
Ooh, do we want to do that? And then we'll maybe we'll,
Can we do it in pencil?
yeah, we will do it in pencil.
I'm up for it if we do it in pencil.
Yeah, we would do it in pencil. All right, let's do hands. All right, we'll do hands next week. Hands. So if you're not there, we will do hands. Why not? What's this? Ew.
I'm totally out of it today.
Yeah, I know you've had a rough, you've been working hard. I know. I'm not surprised.
But it's boring when you're out of it.
It's boring.
Life is boring.
It's sad when you're out of it.
It just is what it is, right?
Yeah.
Can't help it. There's just too much going on. Oh yeah, neat, Tosh. It's very neat. So try and okay, I see now why you're taught now why hands has come up for you. You want to maybe try and thicken her arm a little bit. So try to do that with your ink pen. To
Okay.
outline these. I know you're dark drifted in a little bit more, right, to the light. So you kind of lost your light here. But if you add these dark lines in like this, you'll be able to kind of pull some of that back. If that makes sense. I want to go in with gouache and white and fix the thing. I didn't quite get it right. By the way, oh yeah, Diane's coming, but I see what you mean. You're like, mush, mush. In here, it's all like, mush. How do I grab it? How do I grab it? I get it. It's good though. It's coming. These are awesome, actually. I don't know where mine is. I mean, I know you can see it, but it helps to kind of see it in. There's something, even though this is not my favorite ink drawing, I still really love this drawing that I've done. I hope you guys feel the same way about yours. Even if you don't quite get it right, there are the pieces, the mark making is very beautiful in my mind. It's very expressive. It's very beautiful. It's there's nothing really like it. All right, we're gonna do hands. Totally gonna do hands. Yeah, there's something I'm kind of in love with, even as it's imperfect. I'm kind of in love with it. You cannot help but love your inks. Ooh, this is cool. Oh yeah, that helps. Mhm. Fun. Yeah, nice, Tosh. That helped. See how every little piece, as we kind of, I was realizing that I brought this kind of white area too far down, so I was just adjusting a shape here. Every little bit kind of helps. Quite get that shape right.
This was so much fun. It was definitely one of those ones where in the beginning I was like, oh no.
Yeah, you know, everybody's like that with things. And then at the end, you're like, this is awesome. This is awesome. I remember the first time I learned how to do figure drawing with ink, which is about, I don't know, 8 years ago or something. I just moved here and I took a class and I was exactly like you, Josh. I was like, I can't even imagine. And I remember I said to the teacher, who was a fantastic figure drawing teacher, I learned a lot from her. And this is after I've been an artist for 10 years, right? So you're never too late to kind of add on something new. She said to me, she was an anatomical drawer, like she drew medical illustrations and things, like she was very, very excited. And I remember she's a tiny little Asian woman, super talented, very dry and sardonic, but also super nice, right? Like she wasn't mean in any way. She just had very sort of dry wit and sense of humor, but also lots of pathos for her students. And I said, oh my God, I can't imagine ink. And she said, oh, ink changes everything.
Mm.
Ink changes everything. And she was right. It really does. It's a game changer.
Well, thank you for class. I'm gonna jump off just a little bit early and go to bed.
Yeah. Go to bed, sweetie. I know it's late.
Bye, everyone.
We'll see you tomorrow. I was realizing that my figure looked slightly too thin because I got a little bit, not because of the proportions, but I got a little bit too dark. Yeah.
Mine is too thin, but I'll.
Yeah. So I'm exploring with like pulling off. I got a paper towel wet and I pulled off some, and that actually helped a little bit. And Lisa, don't worry if it doesn't grab you tonight. This was a tricky one. So don't feel bad about that.
Yeah, I started over and I took your suggestion and just did like half of her, and
So much easier.
but it's still,
Some days it's just a struggle. There's
yeah, no, I'm really trying. Like I said, I'm just not seeing things properly. I feel like.
I have one of those days.
Yeah, because it's partly some days it's just the day, right? It's also because you're using a new medium, which kind of takes
Yeah.
up of your drawing concentration, right?
I don't have that to blame. I'm working in acrylic.
But I mean, Lisa's more of a beginner than you, so I would just say there's a lot of things to remember as you're kind of struggling along.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's just do one more little work and then we'll all go to bed.
Wish.
Let's see. Oh yeah, Lisa, much better. Much
Yeah, it is much better.
Yeah. So see, and look at how fast you went.
Yeah. Okay, I'll consider that a win.
Consider that a win. And you have a little bit of time to add some, to get a little bit darker in the dark areas. See if you can.
Okay.
I have ink. I have paint on my feet and ink everywhere. I don't think Rob's even gonna let me in the house. I wouldn't let me in the house. Here, hold on. Gamsol. That's the name.
This doesn't even look like a human being.
Ah,
I guess it makes Frank happy that I'm not painting on the painting of him. He hated it so much.
he did?
Oh, he's so angry at me for painting that because it's such a bad photo
Oh,
that he posted himself online.
oh my God.
It is a bad photo. This is what it looks like. I'm not allowed to show it, but this is what it looks like right now.
Oh, well, you did another painting of him before, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, did you like that one?
yeah, he liked that one.
So did you see? Okay, hold on. I'm gonna stop the recording.